will be recorded. So, if you don't want to be a part of that, you can, feel free to turn off your cameras and so on. I'll give everyone a second to do that, and then we will get started. All right. So, welcome. My name is Chris Stevens. I'm a career coach. I work with a nonprofit organization called Career Catchers, and we are partnered with the Montgomery College Ignite Hub to bring you this workshop today. So, big thanks to Ignite Hub for hosting. I'm also joined on the Zoom by my colleague Emma, so she'll be interacting in the chat as well. Now, we do want this presentation to be interactive, so if you have any, questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll address those as we move along. For those of you here in person, feel free to raise your hand, and I'll call on you. All right, so the topic for today is identifying and highlighting your transferable skills. But before we jump into that, I am going to start off with a question to everyone, both in person and on chat. What's a skill that you have? Give me a skill that you have.
Organizational skills.
Organizational skills, very important. Absolutely. What else?
Printing prepress skills.
Printing prepress skills. Okay, great. Thank you.
We have on the line analytical skills and communication.
Analytical skills, great. Communication skills, yeah, very important.
Written communication.
Yep, communication is pretty broad. You can have verbal communication and written communication. Absolutely. All right, great.
Customer service.
Customer service, yep. No matter, well, we'll get to that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Problem solving is another one.
Problem solving. This is great. You're already jumping ahead in my presentation here. Great. Yeah, no, thank you. These are all great skills, and just keep those in mind for a minute while we begin. So, thank you. So, what are skills? I know everybody has just named a few, but basically, a skill is the ability to perform an action, right? You have the knowledge or the ability to do something, whatever that is. And in sort of the, in this modern day, we hear a lot of different things, right? There's like employability skills, there's key skills, there's essential skills, life skills, basic skills, core skills, right? If you're looking at a job opening or a job description, a lot of times you'll have key skills that they're looking for. If you're trying to to enter a certain career field, you're gonna learn about sort of or see what kind of skills you need to to be successful in that field, right? Today we're going to be talking about transferable skills. And well, let me go back for a second. And another thing that we do when we talk about skills is we sort of divide them into hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills are more sort of technical skills, right? Usually it's something that you've had some kind of education or training, to be able to perform that task. That printing that you mentioned, would be a good skill of, a good example of a hard skill. It's something that you've sort of learned to do, right? Soft skills are things that you don't necessarily learn how to do. It's something that we do all the time. Now, can you sort of train for it? Absolutely. But something like communication skills, right? That would be a soft skill. It's equally as important, but it's not necessarily something that you go to school for. The organizational skills, the analytical skills, a lot of those might be considered soft skills as well. So just keep that distinction in mind. But today we're going to be talking about transferable skills. Sorry.
Now, would you say those are soft and hard skills, or one of them?
That's an excellent question. So transferable skills can be both. For the purposes of our presentation today, we will more so be focusing on the soft skills side of things, because a lot of times, soft skills are transferable. but it can certainly be both. You know, an example of a hard transferable skill might be something, you know, computer skills, right? You know, being able to use Microsoft Office if we're taking a sort of specific example. A lot of jobs, you know, are gonna require you to, you know some sort of word processing software, and that is, you know, that's something that we all learn to do at some point. So that would be an example of a hard skill, but it, you know, it is transferable between, you know, many career fields. And that's what transferable skills are. They're competencies that you develop, you know, during your life experiences, whatever those may be, and that you can carry with you, you know, in all of your endeavors, right? So, you know, why are they important? Well, as I mentioned, transferable skills are valuable for any job, no matter no matter the career field, no matter the industry, no matter the sector. Um, you know, whether or not you're sort of looking for, your first job, or maybe you've, you know, been working for a while and are looking to switch careers. Maybe you're looking to stay in the same career field and advance or learn new skills, right? In all of those cases, transferable skills are going to be important. Now, if you're just starting out, you know, and applying for jobs, you know, a lot of times what you'll see is, you know, a lot of jobs require experience, right? We've all looked at that job description and it says, you know, X number of years of experience in a certain field. And, you know, a lot of times that makes us think, well, you know, how can I join this field to get experience? You know, how can I get experience in this field if I haven't even, you know, without being in the field already, right? Well, that's where transferable skills come in, right? While experience is nice, it doesn't always have to be a barrier to getting a job. And in fact, employers look for, you know, potential candidates that have that can demonstrate those you know, those transferable skills. Let's take customer service, for instance. And because we're in the Ignite Hub today, I'll be using a lot of sort of IT specific examples. But you know, let's say you've worked in the hospitality field. You know, maybe front desk at a hotel or food service or something like that. And now you're trying to switch into an IT career field. So, you know, working in hospitality, you're probably pretty good at customer service, and that was one of the skills that someone mentioned earlier. If you're going into the IT field and looking for a job as, say, a IT support or help desk position, customer service is going to be, you know, one of the critical skills that people are looking for to, you know, to do that IT support. Sure, there are, you know, there's the technical side as well. You actually need to know how to, you know, fix computers and you know, software and all that. But you know, being able to sort of build a good relationship with people and explain things clearly, you know, that's just as important. You know, you can be, you know, employers know they can train for the hard skills, but if someone sort of comes in lacking those soft skills, that can be, you know, that can be a little more challenging. You could be, you know, the best coder or programmer around, but you know, if you're not good at interacting with other people and come across as rude or disrespectful, you know, that's, you know, that's a liability for employers. So, you know, they know they can train the hard skills, but the soft skills in this case and the transferable skills are sort of what you bring with you that, you know, that also make you an asset to the company. And we'll talk a little bit later about how to highlight, you know, how to highlight those. But you know, basically, you can sort of demonstrate all of this in an interview setting, and having a, you know, a bunch of different skills, you know, helps you to stand out, right? You could be applying for a job, you know, and competing against someone else with the exact same technical skills, but if you have that background in customer service or organization or something else, you know, that might put you a little bit, you know, a little bit higher. So they are, you know, they are very important. But the good news is that all of us on the line today have already developed a lot of these skills. We mentioned communication skills and, right, organizational skills, problem solving. We've all done these things at various points throughout our life, even if we don't really realize it. You know, this could be, you know, we've gotten these skills from school, from any work experience. from your social life, just sort of, life in general. So, the good news is that we all have these capabilities already. It's just a matter of, identifying them and highlighting them. Any comments or questions so far?
I want to add something, Chris.
Go ahead.
So in working with employers, I have the chance to kind of talk to them to get them feedback for my students who are going into IT. And one of the things that they say is that they want the transferable soft skills because technical stuff they can train you in.
Yeah.
But but that soft customer service skills, organizational skills, the analytical skills, it's hard. So it's so important if you, especially if you're transitioning, to put those soft skills in, you know, to show that you can do these things. I just wanted to share that.
Absolutely, and thank you for that. That employer-centric perspective.
Mhm.
That's great. All right. So, what are some of these main transferable skills? Well, we've got a few right here. So I'll just sort of go ahead and read them out real quick. Listening, speaking, problem solving, creativity, staying positive, aiming high, leadership, and teamwork. Now, does anything jump out to anyone about any of these skills that are on the list here? What does everyone sort of think about this? I'll tell you oh, go ahead.
Skills, pretty much all of these are basic skills to life. So you need that. I mean, other than leadership, not everybody has to quote unquote be a official leader, but even leadership is one. I mean, if you're a parent, you need to lead your children. If you are, yeah. So even that really is, yeah.
Absolutely, and
They're just life skills.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, whether we volunteer in the community, or as he said, you are a parent or you're the elder brother, whatever may be the case, you are leading somewhere. So everybody on some level does it. Yep. Even if it is not formal.
Exactly, and that's sort of, that's what jumps out to me too, is, looking at this, listening, speaking. Well, that's just something that we do every day without even thinking about it, right? And that's very common. Now, but these are skills, right? As we think about this, think about, frankly, someone I'm sure all of us have encountered someone who doesn't listen, right? Seems like maybe no matter what we say, they don't remember it or they ignore it. Same with speaking again. While it is something that all of us do, some people speak disrespectfully or don't think about what they're going to say. So these skills turn out to be very important. I'm sorry, not creativity. Staying positive is another one, right? You might be thinking, well, how is that a skill? But we hear a lot about resilience and grit, and that sort of fundamentally that's what staying positive is about, right? The sort of being able to keep moving even if things don't go your way and maintain a positive outlook. So these are by no means all of the transferable skills, but I would say these are sort of 8 kind of core skills that I think it's fair to say that everyone has. So we'll use this as a starting point. But I do want to show that this is everyone has transferable skills that are valuable. Now I know you were mentioning different ways. Now things like leadership and teamwork. We may not get the opportunity to demonstrate leadership in our daily lives, although as we'll get into, I think that's probably not true. But let's talk about some ways that we can sort of like what do these actually mean, right? So how do we have these skills, but how do we cultivate them? How can we improve on them? How can we sort of highlight them to, to put our best selves forward. So with the listening and speaking, right? These are things you can do in everyday life. Listening to other people and evaluating their perspective. Some of you may have heard of active listening, right? Make sure you fully understand what's being said. Make sure that you're asking clarifying questions, and make sure that you're taking other people's perspectives into account and trying to seek out other ideas and opinions. That's something that we can all do in our lives. Speaking, right? Speaking clearly in a discussion. A lot of times when we think about speaking, public speaking comes to mind. And it can, and public speaking is certainly a skill. But even if you're just in a group with friends or family, speaking clearly is a, you can cultivate that. Make sure everybody understands what you're saying. If you're trying to persuade them, about something or another, how successful are you at doing that? These are all things you can kind of do informally, as well as taking formal training for it as well. Thinking about problem solving. I guarantee you that everyone here today, encounters problems every day and solves them, right? Whether or not we sort of realize it. So just going about your everyday life, means that you are facing and solving problems. Maybe one of you here in person was going to come to the workshop today, and we were going to drive over and then realize that your car didn't have gas. That's a problem. What do you do to solve it? Well, you go to the gas station. Sure, but is there a gas station that's on the way here? Do you have to go out of your way? How much time does that add to your trip? That's a very sort of simple example, but sort of speaking it out loud, there's a number of steps along the way that you've navigated around in order to to solve the problem, right? So basically completing tasks and really thinking about what are the steps that you to solve a problem. What is your thought process for when you encounter a difficulty, how you approach that. And then once you have a solution, make sure you do it, right? Implement the actions, implement the plans. Creativity, I know a lot of times creativity sometimes seems like, oh, it's you either have it or you don't, right? I'm not someone who's very artistic. Ooh, I'm not a creative type. We've all heard that, or maybe you think that about yourself. Maybe you feel like you are creative. Great. Everyone is creative. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, everyone is creative, but may not be necessarily about or something kind of a thing, that kind of artistic ability, but you could come up with a creative solution, let's say in technology field.
Exactly. It's not all, a lot of times we think, exactly, when we think creativity, we think sort of art, art. But that's, we all sort of have creative ideas that we we come up with in our everyday life. So sharing those ideas, trying to implement those ideas, no matter where you are. The IT field is a good example. That's sort of where you blend the creativity and the problem solving, to present a good product. So in sort of embracing your creativity and trying to come up with new ideas. That's something that we can all do. Now leadership, again, that's something where a lot of times people may think, oh, I'm not in a leadership position. How do I cultivate that? Again, it doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to be designated a leader or a manager or a supervisor to provide leadership. You can lead by example, right? If you're sort of informally giving advice or mentoring someone, or maybe you're working somewhere and you have a new coworker and you're sort of training them on how things are done. That's leadership, right? You're, as it says on here, encouraging others to contribute effectively to a shared goal. And you don't need to be called a boss or a manager or a supervisor to do that. It's about encouraging others to to collaborate and accomplish something. Now, many different kinds of leadership, but that's sort of the fundamental principle, right? Go ahead.
So another thing about leadership is that you can be a leader
wherever you are. So you can lead where you are from. You can be, so sometimes people say, you know, I'm in the position of, you know, I don't oversee anybody, I don't supervise anybody, I'm not a leader. But you can lead your own self. You can lead your own group in your own team. You don't have to be designated as a leader. You can take charge. You can say, okay, I can do this. I'm gonna do this part. If somebody else wants to do that, that's the leadership skills there.
Setting an example for other people, absolutely. And same with teamwork, right? You're collaborating with other people to, you know, to accomplish a goal. And, you know, believe it or not, being able to get along with people and work with them very effectively, that is very important in any workplace that you're going to be in. And it's a skill, right? For dealing with people, there's always going to be clashing personalities or someone who thinks they know how things should be done and won't hear any arguments. So being able to sort of, you know, navigate those personalities and you know, come to a compromise, that's very important. And again, that's pretty much what we do in any of our interactions with anyone, just in our day-to-day lives. Staying positive, I mentioned a little bit. You know, this is sort of where the resilience comes in. You know, everyone has barriers, everyone has challenges. Sometimes things don't go our way. That's life. You know, that happens. You know, we can't really control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. And that's where the staying positive comes in. You know, do you keep moving forward and looking for another solution and kind of knowing things are gonna get better? You know, or do you focus more on the negative and sort of, you know, think about how things could have been and you know, sort of assign blame. You know, staying positive is going to get you, you know, moving again a lot faster. So staying positive, staying resilient, moving forward, you know, that's hard to, you know, that's hard to train, but it's very, you know, it's important for any kind of job you're going to do because, you know, there are going to be setbacks there as well. And then last one is aiming high, right? Do you set goals for yourself? And, you know, do you have a plan for accomplishing those goals? Goal setting is absolutely a skill, right? It's part of sort of the organizational aspects of that. You know, are you setting challenging goals for yourselves? And you know, do you have sort of a clear idea of where you want to be and what it takes to get there? Yeah, go ahead.
What about negotiation skills?
Negotiation skills, sure. I mean, that would fit in, well, frankly, negotiation skills, I think, probably covers all of these different ones for sure. Certainly speaking and listening, right? You want to get the other person's perspective and sort of understand where they're coming from. A negotiation is at its core solving a problem, right? You're in sort of you don't agree on something and by the end you come to an agreement. That's problem solving. Maybe you need a creative solution to get there. You know, collaborating with other people and you know, depending on negotiation, it can be, you know, it can be trying, right? So staying positive throughout that whole process. So negotiation, absolutely a skill. And I think it sort of crosses a lot of different aspects of this of these core skills right here. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, the point that if you take away nothing else, you know, the point I'm trying to make here is that, you know, these 8 sort of core skills are things that we all have, and, you know, frankly, there are plenty of opportunities just in your everyday life to, you know, to cultivate them. So I know Watney had mentioned earlier that, you know, employees, you know, really are looking for these soft skills. So here's a few stats. So out of a survey of various sort of managers and employers, 59% said that time management and being able to sort of prioritize your work, those are skills that are sort of lacking in their workplace. So time management, something as simple as sort of getting the work done on time and making sure you give yourself enough time to, you know, to do a good job. Being able to prioritize, you know, which tasks need to get done first and which ones can maybe wait. Again, that's something that we all do every day, even if we don't sort of fully realize that. 58% say that management and leadership skills are lacking. And Again, that's not necessarily something where it's, oh, my frontline supervisors or shift leads are a problem. This anyone can sort of demonstrate that leadership and management skills. 55% say teamwork is a gift skills, right? So just getting along with other people and working with them effectively to get things done. And 39% say problem solving. So, if you encounter an issue, can you, come up with a good plan for solving it and then, implement that solution. And again, these four things, time management, leadership, teamwork, problem solving, these aren't technical skills. These cross sort of all different career fields. But this is what a lot of employers say are the key skills that are lacking, not so much the hard skills. Comments or questions on that?
So aptitude versus something else, I forgot. It's about some employers are willing to train because if you have this, you are trainable.
Right.
You know what I'm referring to?
Yes.
Aptitude versus something else.
Yeah.
Teachability.
I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, basically, right. And that's the thing. I mean, how do you sort of, again, right, how do you really teach time management or teamwork? It is certainly something that everyone can improve, but how do you really teach that? Like you were referencing, employers know that they can teach the hard skills, the technical skills, coding, programming, whatever it may be, printing. But
Is it aptitude versus attitude?
Yeah.
that might be. Sounds good.
The aptitude refers to ability, talent, and competence to perform a specific, while attitude defines one's belief mentally and the drive to achieve the goal.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Yeah. Even if you don't feel like you're the most, again, I mean, you like the examples, even if you don't feel like you're the most talented programmer or coder or what have you, if you have the determination to sort of, get everything done, to learn new skills, to really push yourself, in the long run, that's going to count for more than just, being able to come in immediately and with these hard skills, because the sort of attitude, as we said, is going to carry you, a lot further than, if you sort of quit and then, when the going gets tough. Yeah. All right. So again, using some IT examples here. Now I pulled this from ONET Online. It's a great website. It's run by the U.S. Department of Labor, and a lot of great resources, but you can basically go in and type in any career field, and it comes back with a wealth of information from, sort of what the roles and responsibilities for that position are, what sorts of like training or education you may need, even has salary information and things like that. So a really great resource. Yeah.
Will the slides be available to us?
Yes, we'll be sending these out after the workshop.
Okay.
So in this case, I don't know that I have it on here, but I went on and I think I looked up, it was IT support or networking specialist, something like that. It's an IT focused career. And on ONET, it has a list of skills that you need for this field. And again, I want everyone to sort of take a look at this and look at a lot of what they're saying. Critical thinking, active listening, decision making, reading comprehension, right? A lot of this, that may be a surprise, but that's important. Active learning, problem solving, speaking. These are all skills that we've talked about sort of up to this point. There aren't really a lot of hard skills on here. Now, certainly the hard skills, the hard skills are important. You do need to have that IT specific knowledge. But these were the skills that were sort of highlighted for this career field. And actually, I've got a couple others as well. And again, these are, things we do all the time, critical thinking, listening. I especially like the active learning, right? That sort of goes back to like aiming high and setting goals, right? What do you do when you get sort of new information and do you try to seek out new knowledge and always try to sort of, grow your skills? Are you intellectually curious? That attitude is very important. I'm gonna continue the list here. Things like, here we get, a little bit of the hard skills, but, monitoring, systems analysis, troubleshooting, operations monitoring, systems evaluation, time management, just talked about that, and writing. Now, some of these may seem like they're hard skills, right? Let's take monitoring. What do they say that is? Assessing performance of yourself or other people. Even if you're not in the IT field, that's something we do all the time. We always are assessing our performance, or if we're working in a group where we're checking up on other people, seeing how they're doing, maybe offering help. If you're in any kind of leadership position, or just, again, working with other people, you're doing, something like this. Systems analysis, this is pretty broad. This isn't IT specific, but, basically, do you know how something should work? And if it's not working, can you kind of figure out what's wrong? Even if you don't have any experience doing that in an IT setting, the thought process, the sort of the plan that you use to do that kind of thing, can be applied to the IT field. Troubleshooting, you get that a lot in IT. Again, determining the cause of a problem and how you fix it. We won't get too much into interviewing today, but some very common interview questions are, ask exactly this: what have you had to encounter the problem and how have you resolved it? Yeah.
Someone asked me recently at an interview, have you ever done something revolutionary?
Good
And
question.
What was that again, Raj? What's the question again?
have you ever done something revolutionary at work?
Revolutionary at work.
Yeah.
Have you done anything revolutionary at work? Gotta be creative to answer that.
Yeah. That is a very interesting question. I have to think about
I did not like that
And
question.
How did you answer it, Raj?
Yeah.
Pardon?
How did you answer it?
I said probably not. Yeah, because I'm more comfortable with questions like how do you go about solving a problem? But something revolutionary, I mean, I don't know.
You changed the way they did something.
Even then, I probably wouldn't say revolutionary because for me, revolutionary is very
Something
big.
more
Yeah.
magnified.
Magnified, and it has this massive effect.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the global level changes I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it sort of depends on how you would answer that question. Again, not to go too much into that.
Yeah.
I think we have maybe another workshop on interviewing, but yeah, if I were to answer that question, I'd probably say something along the lines of, even if you're sort of doing your job and supporting other people, I mean, that's important, even if it's, the revolution doesn't have to be a solo effort. So even if it's helping other people, that's still working toward a larger goal. I don't know. We can talk about that, later.
So one of our participants says, you haven't done anything revolutionary yet.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Actually,
Thank you, Patrice.
That's a good
There you go. Thank you for, yeah, that's good. That's good. Anyway, so I'm only thinking about that one.
We'll have to take that question back during our interview session.
Yeah.
But I do want to answer, so you have to come back for our interview workshop.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely interested in that.
Anyway, so again, just this transferable skills for IT. Again, a lot of these skills that you need to move into the IT field or start a career there. These are things that we all probably have experience with. And even if you're trying to advance in the field, right? At some point you've learned, you've learned the technical skills, and it really does become about managing people, right? And solving those higher level problems. So that's where these soft skills come in to really complement the hard skills. So how do we skill build? How do we get new skills or review or improve the ones that we have. The good news is there is, many opportunities for that. The two that people sort of think of offhand, one is work experience, right? And a lot of times if you're looking at a job description, they'll ask, do you have work experience doing X, Y, and Z? So any kind of work experience will get you skills and give you the opportunity to sort of practice these skills, even if it's even if you're not working in your chosen career field. Again, you still have the opportunity to sort of get those transferable skills, so you can move into your chosen career field. Education and training is also what we think a lot of people think of when we talk about, how do you get skills, right? Maybe you get a degree of some kind. Maybe you do a certification class, right? Montgomery College has a great, workforce development, program in addition to the credit courses. So maybe doing like a, trades or an apprenticeship course. All of those give you the skills as well. A lot of times it is focused more on the hard skills, the technical side. But, if you're in a classroom setting, you're interacting with other people, you're listening, you're speaking, those are the soft skills come in there too. One thing I think that sort of tends to get discounted a little bit is like volunteer and internship opportunities. In my work, sometimes I'll be asking people about their experience. They'll say, oh, I did X, Y, and Z, but it was volunteer, right? I didn't get paid for it. Can I still use that? And I say, of course you can. Volunteering and internships and things like that are a great way to gain, skills. One, it's great because you're able to sort of potentially experience what a certain job may be like without having a commitment to it. You can test it out, see whether it's for you. Go ahead.
Sometimes volunteer opportunities lead to work opportunities.
Absolutely, I can attest to that personally.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're volunteering, if let's say you're volunteering directly for a company that you'd like to work for, right, that's great. The employees will be able to sort of see what type of person you are. If you're a hard worker, do you have the aptitude and the attitude? You can sort of pick up some training, and that gives you, that really does give you a leg up. But even if you're volunteering and it's not, directly related to your, to your chosen career field. Let's say you want to work in the IT field, and right now you're volunteering at a food bank. Let's say, you never know who you're going to meet there, right? The person who's also volunteering next to you could be an employer. They could be, they could be working at a company that you're interested in, and they could give you a reference. Again, it's now this person knows who you are and can give you that potentially that foot in the door.
I can also say, if you're working on different skills, say for example, you want to work on your communication skills, your speaking skills, your volunteer work can give you that opportunity to practice those skills that you may be lacking, because we're not perfect. We don't have all of the soft skills. We have some of them and a little bit of everything. But the volunteering and internship opportunities gives you that opportunity to practice those skills that you're not good at and want to improve in it. And that can go on your resume as well, as we'll talk about in our future sessions and resume.
Absolutely. Yeah, it gives you a great way to practice those skills. So another one that I think sometimes gets overlooked, online, right? There are any number of free online resources. There's certainly a number of paid online resources as well. And those are all good, but for our purposes, free online resources. There's a number of websites, Allison.com, Coursera, Udemy, and those.
What is the first one you say?
Allison.com. Maybe I'll put a list or something in the final handout.
Yeah.
Not only, and then a lot of these are hard skills, right? Especially for the IT field. You can find a lot of free resources for coding and programming, and even things like the CompTIA exams, right? A+, Network+. There are a lot of resources that you can access for free online to at least get the foundational concepts, for this for these certifications. But it's not just the hard skills too. There are resources for some of the soft skills. Public speaking would be one. Problem solving or like project management kind of. You can find resources for that as well. There are, believe it or not, customer service trainings that you can find online. So, it's again, a great way and pretty easy way to sort of explore new skills and maybe improve, some skills that you feel like you want to improve. And again, it's a great way to kind of test things out potentially without, committing to a long-term training program. At least at the beginning. Another thing would be sort of personal projects or hobbies. Again, to use an IT example, maybe you've designed your own website. Maybe maybe you're part of a community group and you've done, web design there, maybe, any number of things like that. Personal projects that you can sort of showcase, creating apps, right? You can put all that in a portfolio and submit it as part of an application. And that's fine. It doesn't matter if you're not paid for it. What matters is that you're, demonstrating the skills that you have. And even hobbies. Anyone who plays sports, I mean, that's teamwork, that's leadership, right? If you're willing to wake up early and go train or exercise, that says something about you, right? So, all of that kind of, makes a difference. And finally, everyday life. Like I mentioned, we all use these core skills, these transferable skills, in our everyday life. The trick is to sort of be intentional about it, realize when we're using these skills and sort of think, okay, can I be, do I have opportunities in my everyday life to improve? Back up real quick. Any comments or questions here?
What's the first thing you said, Allison?
Allison.com. Yeah, what I'll do is
ALISON.
I'll include I'm gonna include another slide with some of the websites on here, so that'll go out to everyone.
ALL,
Just one L.
just one L.
Yeah. So, we talked about sort of what skills are, why are they important, how do we improve them? And that's all great. But now, you're out there, you're looking for a job. How do you highlight these? How do you, let other people know that you have these skills, right? So step one is kind of self-explanatory. You have to be aware of what skills you bring to the table and what you want to highlight. Again, a lot of things, we talked about listening, speaking, things like that. That can be a surprise, right? Wow, that's a skill. Is that something I should highlight? Doesn't everyone do that? So step one is to be, really honest with yourself and identify, what skills you have, no matter how basic or simple you think they are. You want to get a good sense of your own capabilities and how that applies to whatever job or career field that you're looking to move into. We will be doing another workshop on resumes, but in short, you can put all these skills on your resume, right? When I do resumes, I like to have a skills section at the top, and you can put things like customer service and things like that. So, communication skills, all that good stuff can go on a resume. And when you're doing a resume and writing out your job responsibilities and roles and things like that, describing your experience, make sure you emphasize these skills. It's not just was shift leader for a fast food restaurant. It was supervised a shift of 10 employees. Did the scheduling, provided performance coaching, things like that. Really get into the details there. Yeah.
So does your organization offer any free services to students if they would like to have their resumes reviewed?
That is part of our services. We'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
So in addition to the resume, so bottom line of the resume is be as detailed as possible. and really make sure you highlight those skills. What were times, in this job or in this experience that you had to listen or speak or, show leadership, all that good stuff. Another thing is if you're submitting a cover letter, that can be a chance to sort of provide a little more detail about certain skills or experiences that you have that may not sort of fit in a resume. Yeah.
A comment about emphasizing your transferable skills on your resume and cover letter. I work with a lot of international students, and sometimes they say they don't have any skills because they worked internationally and not here in the United States.
Yeah.
But customer service is a transferable skills from anywhere. If you are able to smile and be nice to people in your country and then you come here, that's still transferable. You can still smile and be nice and help people. So I just want to kind of bring that up, that these are very important. Transferable skills are important, especially if you're moving not only from different jobs, fields, but also from different country, that those are important to put on your resume and to highlight.
Yeah. And if you speak, oh, go ahead.
One of the challenges for some international students is the language barrier.
Yes.
But if you do speak another language, absolutely throw that on the resume, because that is very, always a good skill to have if you're bilingual or multilingual, absolutely. So yeah, cover letter will give you a little more information. Another thing here is, when you're sort of looking through different jobs and sort of figuring out what would be a good fit, what you want to apply for, don't focus too much on the job titles. And what I mean by that is, a job title doesn't necessarily give you the full idea of what a job entails, right? What you want to do is make sure you read the full description, because a lot of times, people might see a job title, think, oops, a lot of times. I'll try to speak louder. A lot of times, sure. Give us one moment here.
Can you turn it off? And the people on Zoom.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Okay, there we go. So, job titles. A lot of times, job titles may not give you a clear idea of what the job involves, and it can be pretty intimidating, right? But it may turn out that once you start looking at the description, the skills that you have may line up, right? Maybe you have that, leadership experience. Maybe you've problem solved in something that in a situation that would be, similar to this. So, so don't just look at job titles and sort of assume they're looking for hard skills. Really read the job descriptions and figure out what skills you have that would transfer into that. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on the company, your job duties could be pretty much the same, but the titles could be different.
Exactly. Yeah, and actually ONET's a good example of that. You can put in IT support or something, they'll give you all sorts of alternate titles. What does this actually, do?
An example would be, at one company, they may say systems analyst.
Yeah.
At some other company, you are doing pretty much the similar thing, but they may say programmer.
Exactly. So
At some other company, it could be applications systems analyst, So.
Yeah. But until you read the description, you're not,
Yeah.
you're not really gonna know how that matches up exactly. Another thing would be, include all of your relevant experience, and that's not just paid experience. That is volunteer, internship, any sort of personal projects. Really think about sort of what you've done, and it's okay to include that. As I think maybe we mentioned earlier, if you're a parent, that's a full-time job in and of itself, and you get a lot of skills from that. That's relevant experience. You can include skills like that in your skills section.
And you talk about multitasking as a parent.
Exactly.
You're a chauffeur, you're a teacher,
Yeah.
Multiple things, multitasking, prioritizing,
multitasking.
Yeah.
and dealing with stress.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Pressure.
Yeah, under pressure, right? Working under pressure.
Uh-huh.
So, really, sort of, and this sort of goes with, give yourself credit for your experience. Really be honest with yourself and take sort of a broad view, right? Because, I think all of us have more skills than we really give ourselves credit for. Especially on the soft skills side. And then, the last point here is to sort of try to sort of adopt a mindset of continuous learning, right? Sure, you've got skills, you may use them all the time, but what do you need to work on? What are some goals for yourself? What do you want to improve? What new skills can you learn? Because your ability to do that, is also very important. One, you get new skills, but two, employers see that. Even if you're not working, let's say you want to move into the IT field, you're not working in the IT field now, you're, in that hospitality job, but you've been, going online and doing, programming classes and then things like that. That shows a level of initiative, right? You're a self-starter. You're able to, master new skills without a lot of instruction. All of that looks really good. So, no matter what the sort of what skills you want to focus on, always be sort of looking for ways to, to improve them, because we always can. Yeah.
We have a question from Patrice. They ask, systems analyst position is broad. How can we streamline our transferable skills as it relates to that job title in the IT world? Maybe Raj.
Could you please repeat the question?
So systems analyst position is broad. How can we streamline our transferable skills as it relates to that job title in the IT world?
Well, this is how I see it. When it comes to the transferable skills, whatever you included on one of the slides, that's pretty much across the board. It doesn't matter whether you are in tech support, systems analyst, or you are managing a project. I would primarily focus on the description to see what hard skills they are talking about. Are they talking about systems programming? Yeah, they're talking about you need to code in Unix as well, or yeah. So I would look at the description and focus more on the hard skills, because for me, all the soft skills they are across the board. Doesn't matter what job you are doing in IT, pretty much.
Yeah, I think sort of like you said, I think research is the key. It's going to be a little bit sort of trial and error as you're looking through different job titles and different companies and things like that. And eventually you're going to get a sense of sort of which job titles are more likely to sort of, need the transferable skills that you have, or, if there are specific companies that do a certain type of work that, you feel you're a good fit for, maybe sort of filtering it that way, right? Focusing on specific companies. Things like that. I think it sort of comes down to just sort of doing research.
And also reading, like Raj said, reading the job description, because I can imagine system analysts will need that logical thinking skills, analytical skills. Those are the kind of keywords I feel like that you will need, but it depends on what is in the job description. And we'll talk about some more when we do the research resume session about how to match your job, how to match your resume with the job description.
I would like to add something to this.
Yeah.
I had systems analyst title at one company, programmer analyst. Pardon?
Can you speak to the mic?
Oh, yeah. Systems analyst.
The green light.
Yeah, I had different titles. The light is yellow here.
No.
No, the green one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had different titles because I worked at various companies. Systems analyst, application systems analyst. Even I was doing business analysis work as well, even though the title said application systems analyst. And I had at one company consultant. I was actually not doing any consulting work at a client side, but I don't know why they had that kind of title. So I'm at a point now where I don't care much about the titles. I'm like, okay, show me the description and I go from there. Yep. Because logical thinking and analytical thinking, you need to do that in IT support. You need to do that in programming in quality assurance testing, business analysis, production support, project management. In any area you have to do logical thinking, analytical thinking, absolutely, that's a given. Yeah.
Yeah, great example. Thank you. All right. And again, so bottom line, you can do it, right? We all have skills. We're all, good at, we all have a level of competency at the skills we have, and we all have opportunities to improve it. So, with that in mind, really take a look and see what you bring to the table. So as we begin to wrap up here, a couple things. Thank you all for coming to our workshop today, and a big thank you to Ignite Hub for hosting. We will be holding further monthly workshops. So you'll see a QR code in a minute where you can sign up for our future sessions. There we go. This is the
appointment.
Okay, well, we can do that real quick. We did have a question. So, as I mentioned, I'm a career coach. I work for an organization called Career Catchers. We are partnered with the Ignite Hub to, in addition to the workshops, we do provide one-on-one coaching services. So you can use this QR code here to set up appointments, either in person or virtually. And we're happy to speak with you about your career goals and how we can help. That up there for a minute. And if you go and you can also do this through the Ignite Hub website, which I think you just search Montgomery College Ignite Hub. The website will come up, and there's a section on career coaching, so you can go in and schedule an appointment, as well as sign up for any of the future workshops as well. We do, we are always trying to improve our resources and the quality of the workshop. So if everybody mind taking a couple minutes and just filling out this post-workshop survey, we really appreciate it. We use the feedback to make it better. So everyone can just take a minute to do that. We'd really appreciate it. And
the link is in the chat.
Link is in the chat.
Online folks.
And if there are any other sort of comments or questions as we're wrapping up, happy to take those right now.
Okay, sounds good. Does anybody have any questions online as we're wrapping up?
Yeah.
Gosh, go ahead.
Yeah, could you please share some information about your organization? How big is it, and where is it located physically?
Yeah, I mean, so we're located in Montgomery County, and we do serve, we serve sort of all over the county. It's not just one sort of geographic location. Our main office is in Silver Spring. Although, if you're interested in sort of getting career coaching through Ignite Hub, we might meet here at the college. But yeah, I know we've got a team of career coaches on staff. So, definitely reach out, and we'd be, happy to provide you more details and try to set something up.
Do you provide services to a student that wants to apply for federal jobs, because that's a different ballgame altogether?
Yeah. That's certainly, that's your goal. That's something we can work. Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's their website.
Yes, you can go to careercatchers.org, and that's some more information about us. So.
And they are also on our Ignite Hub website. If you go to programs, career coaching services. So that's the services here. You can schedule an appointment by clicking here, and then the list of workshops are here. So
resume writing.
So our next one in March is resume writing workshop, and then career exploration and job search strategy. So if you go to our website, you can connect with us and Career Catchers. You can make your appointment to meet with Chris to review your resume. This is all part of the Ignite Hub services, career services. So our community members and students are welcome to access these services through us.
Do you offer, I don't know whether the service has to be somewhat customized for returning citizens? Or would it be pretty much the same?
Yeah, no, and we work with individuals who,
Okay.
running,
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
All right, do we have any last minute comments, questions, concerns? Okay, so thank you so much, Chris, for being here, and for those of you who are in person. Any question? For those of you who are in person, please feel free to chit chat with Chris, and thank you, Emma, for being online and providing all the resources online. When we do send out emails to everybody, we'll send out the PowerPoint presentation, and Chris will also include the resources we talked about today.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.